Andrew Brate, the leadoff man for the Knights, 286 average on the year, and that's in for the first strike of the game from Ferrone. Brate had a shoulder deal, which is why he moved over to second base. He was initially at third base, moved in the leadoff spot, now over at second. And that's right down Broadway for strike two.
Yeah, Ferrone's just a smooth, easy 92 to 94. Fastball has some ride to it. So UCF needs to see the ball down, don't chase it up.
Got a chase there out of Brate, and Matt Cassetti throws him out at first to complete the strikeout. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Knights. Just saw Brate strike out. Matt Prevesk, who we talked about at the top of the show, has been the most consistent bat. We got a couple of former Notre Dame players on this team. Jack Ziska and Danny Neary. Neary had a huge Big 12 championship, batted .500 in Arlington. Call it curveball or a slider from Ferrone?
Curveball. He's got both of them. Slider's a little bit more horizontal on plane, a little higher velo, but that's just a land me over curveball.
This ball lined down the left field line, slice and foul. Off the bat of Prevesk, transfer from Florida, ranked 4th in the league in hits and batting average, earned himself all Big 12 honorable mention in 2024. One of 5 Knights to get an honorable mention nod. And Ferrone, and the ball deposited into the seats. I wonder if Greg Ferrone caught any of the earlier game and saw what Mr. Dorsey was doing on the left side.
I would think he did. I know both coaches said that they watched the game and the call and everything else, wanted to know what was going on out in left field.
What a start for Ferrone. He is dialed in right now. Back-to-back strikeouts here in the top of the first.
The Ferrone thing, you got to lay off this high fastball. Prevesk was in prevent mode, those 0-2 swings and just trying to spoil stuff, but once he got started on that pitch, there's no chance.
Matt Cedarberg now try to figure out Ferrone. Greg Ferrone made the start in the SEC tournament opener against South Carolina. He gave up 2 home runs to Gavin Casas and Ethan Petrie. 2 guys that can leave the yard in a hurry. Good off speed there to get Cedarberg out in front. And it's 1-1.
Yeah, he was on a little bit of short rest, had a short leash through the Saturday game at Auburn.
And Cedarberg takes down for ball 2. Home run ball's been an issue over the last month of the season or so for Ferrone. He's allowed 7 home runs over his last 4 starts and has allowed at least 3 earned over his last 4 as well. Did not go. But that's something you contend with when you got that high rising fastball. Some guys like to take that out. And that's ball 4.
Well, you also got Charlie Condon, Jack Caglione, Petrie, Casas, Tommy White.
Those guys are pretty good, right?
There's a whole bunch of bombers roaming around the league that just one mistake and it's getting a new baseball.
So 2-out walk will bring up Lex Bodecker out of Lima, Ohio. 3-year starter for the Knights over at first base. Tons of power from the left-hand side. Oh, that was awkward. That would be a balk on Ferrone. Just looked like he hesitated a little bit there on the mound.
Yeah, the back foot completely slid out from under him. And you can see that the heel went towards home plate. He's in a complete awkward position. And when that happens, you try to do your best to make a throw, but at that point he was so far gone, just nothing he could do.
Well, UCF again joining a new conference this year. A lot of conference realignment going on across the country. Made it to the semifinals of the Big 12 tournament down there in Arlington. And likely was one of the reasons why they made the NCAA tournament. I know Rich Wallace was a little bit uneasy going into the selection show on Memorial Day, but UCF did actually have the highest RPI amongst the Final Four teams that got into the field. And a swing and a miss there for strike 2 on Bodecker. But, you know, as expected, certainly ups and downs in the first year of the Big 12. It's a bump up from the AAC to the Big 12 in talent, so that's expected.
Yeah, I feel like they made a good move. 14-15 first year. A lot of good baseball being played there, and they were able to get their way into the tournament with a couple of nice wins in the Big 12 tournament. You'd like to see if it carries over if you're UCF, and right now, 2 outs, you got a man in scoring position.
Bodecker had 16 home runs last year, and the count is full along the junior. 16 homers last year, just 6 this year, but he does have 12 doubles.
Kind of a fascinating conversation with Coach Wallace about how the wind blows in a lot of the times. Big ballpark, probably had 10 balls with exit velos.
Holds up on his swing there, so after 2 quick strikeouts to Great and Prevesk, a walk to Cedarburg, a balk, which got him up to second, then the walk to Bodecker.
Talking about Bodecker's home runs, Coach said he had about 10 balls that were exit velocity and launch angles that would have been out anywhere except at their place.
Smart visit there from the veteran catcher Matt Cassetti to go out and try to talk to Ferrone, ease him up a little bit. Ferrone this year 4-3, a 4.52 ERA. Alabama's been fortunate in the fact that they've had, you know, 1 or more consistent weekend rotations all year long. Ferrone, Ben Hess, Zane Adams, all with at least 13 starts.
Yeah, and that is very rare now in college baseball to get 3 guys you can just plug in and play.
First and second, 2 outs, top of the first inning, no score. Jack Ziska, the new batter, getting his first at bat, and he swings through a fastball for strike 1.
So Alabama is one of the rare teams that I have done this year that the catcher, Matt Cassette, calls all the pitches. He'll get some feedback from the dugout on occasion, but he knows best and he's worked at it. He knows what's going on, he and Ferrone, so he'll type in, you can see right there, it's on his knee pad, and he will type in what the pitch is. Ferrone gets the message, no fingers.
Ziska lines one down the left field line. That's going to be a fair ball. Cedarburg will score easily. They're going to wave around Bodecker. Here comes the relay throw. It's a good one from LeBron. It's bobbled at the plate and a head-first dive into third for Ziska. And just like that, UCF has taken a 2-0 lead.
The fastball is supposed to be in. Doesn't quite get in there.
Well, hold on, we're going to have a meeting between the umpires here. I just saw Rob Vaughn have the 2-run RBI double for Ziska, brings up Danny Nerai.
Like that. That play right there, that 90 feet. Great block by Matt Cassette. I'm sorry.
No, you're
Go ahead. I was just going to say, if I'm Greg Ferrone, I am shoving through that little interference getting me to the ball. I'm getting some people out of the way because I just gave up a 2-run double.
That's 6'6", 240. That's Ferrone just boom, barrels him.
Man, 2 strikeouts, dominant. Walk, double, 3-0 count, 2-0 count.
There's a called strike. So I was saying that, you know, you got some Notre Dame flavor on this UCF team. Ziska with that 2-run RBI double. Danny Nerai at the plate. 2 teammates that helped Notre Dame get back to the College World Series in 2022 under head coach Link Jarrett, who is now here, of course, at Florida State, and their head coach Rich Wallace. The first time in 20 years that Notre Dame had been to Omaha. And this ball popped up on the infield. Will Hodo, the first baseman, makes the grab, and that will end the inning. But Jack Ziska gets UCF to be a big league player at some point. And the first pitch from Dom Stagliano misses a little bit outside for ball one. What are we going to see from Stags?
The Stags is going to be featuring fastball, changeup, cutter, slider, curveball. Actually more changeups than fastballs. And Coach Vaughn with Alabama really felt like the way that they were exposed in the SEC tournament with the off-speed stuff is a big reason why Stags is on the mound.
2 balls, no strikes to Gage Miller, transfer from Bishop State Community College in Mobile. He has been the Tide's best bat all year long. And a quick 3-0 count. Looks like Dom Stagliano's overthrown a little bit early on.
Yeah, a little bit like Ferrone did. 2-0, 2 pitches off count. There's a bit more of a heartbeat than starters are used to right now. And walking out first game of the regional, you haven't played in a week. And you can do all the scrimmage games and all the bullpens you want in the world, but once this heartbeat kicks up to where you're not used to it, things get a little bit loose. Once he settles in, I mean, his walk rate's really good.
Miller puts a charge into one, and that is a mile high, but foul.
That might be on the softball field.
Could be. Could be.
You think he was ready to jump on a fastball?
He looked like it. He's a guy that has 18 home runs, but we were talking earlier, Greg. There's an Auburn. I saw an Auburn hat there.
I just saw an Auburn hat.
How about that? We were just saying earlier in game one, they are everywhere. You can't.
We are everywhere, yes.
Line shot into left field. Over the glove of Kluska at short. And a leadoff single for Gage Miller.
Well, there's a phrase in baseball that says you can't sneak a piece of cheese past a rat. That would be the same as trying to sneak a fastball by Gage Miller.
Yeah. Ain't
gonna happen. On time. This dude can swing it.
Ian Petrutz, only player from Coach Vaughn's Maryland team last year that came over to Alabama. Way out in front of that changeup from Stagliano. You were talking about that as a pitch that he uses quite a bit to his advantage.
Actually 32% of the time, fastballs at 31%, and then cutter, slider are right below 20%, so it's a pretty fascinating 4-pitch mix.
Miller, not a guy that will run a lot in the leadoff spot. No stolen bases this year. Alabama as a team is not a team that tends to run a ton.
Would you think that he might be the only leadoff hitter in the country without a stolen base attempt? Not a stolen base. He has not attempted to take a bag.
Hey, super athletic guy, too. But when you got a guy like Ethan Petrutz behind you, you don't really want to give up an out. Petrutz, 325 average this year, 14 doubles to lead the team, 40 RBI. This ball skied high back around home plate. Third baseman Calise will watch it head into the seats. When you think about Ian Petrutz and all the changes Alabama went through last year, he was a huge pickup. When you think about who left in the outfield for Alabama, Tommy Seidel graduated, Andrew Pinckney was taken by the Nats in the 4th round, so Petrutz was a perfect fit.
Yeah, and Vaughn really was very selective in what he was doing, really worked hard to keep LeBron. First thing he did as the head coach of Alabama was went to LeBron's house, made sure that he had him intact, and he was shocked he didn't go in the draft. Then you get Gage Miller, Bishop State. This ball comes off the glove. Now, if he would have caught that with his bare hand, it's a strikeout. It did not make contact with any body parts. It went off the glove. So if he would have been able to bare hand that, it would have been a punch out.
The ball is spiked there. I think that caught a piece of Petrutz, and he will head on down to first. Up to second goes Miller.
And it's so important for any pitcher to go out after your team gets you a couple runs and do your best to put up a 0, keep the momentum in your dugout. And the 3-0 count gets Gage Miller into a hitter's count. He gets a base hit. You lose that possible strikeout on the bobble, and now you got runners on first and second, and you got who's going to be a future superstar, quote Rob Vaughn and LeBron.
Here is the aforementioned Justin LeBron, shortstop freshman out of Miramar, Florida. He is the first Alabama shortstop to be named to the SEC All-First Team since Josh Rutledge in 2010.
That's not a bad guy.
And LeBron flies one off the end of the bat to left. Prevesk under it, and he makes the grab.
Were you just waiting to see what was going to happen out and left?
We have had I mean, gosh, earlier, if you did not see the first game here, there was sun shining down on the outfielders, and it was an adventure to say the least, out in left field and over at second base.
Yeah. Yeah, left field was...
Anything in the air was not a guaranteed out.
One drop ball, two lost balls in, I'm going to say, the sun. It was an adventure in space out and left.
William Hamiter takes a called strike. Hometown hero, veteran presence on this team. A guy that could have easily hung it up after last year, but he decided to stay and be a part of this new era of Alabama baseball under Coach Vaughn, and he holds up his swing there for ball one. But fifth-year player might be playing some of the best baseball that he has played his entire career over the last month, taking a 10-game hit streak into the game today.
Just a great story. That foul ball takes over when Alabama had 33 of 39 players get food poisoning at Mississippi State. He takes over for Evan Slight, and then he couldn't get him out of the lineup.
And Evan is the captain on this team, and he even said, we got to play Will. He is that good right now. And a called strike three. Didn't see it well out of the hand of Stagliano, and that at that first strikeout for the right-hander.
Yeah, but Evan Slight, Coach Vaughn was going to talk to Slight and have the conversation like, hey, you're not in the lineup right now, need to stay with you. And Evan Slight caught him before Coach Vaughn said a word and said, Coach, you got to play Hammy, man. He's swinging it too good. I'll be ready.
That's what a captain does. What's best for the team. 2 outs for Cade Snell, the two-way star for the Tide. He's made 6 starts on the mound, mostly in the midweek. Also gets it done at the plate. Out of Wallace Community College, was the NJCAA National Player of the Year last year at Wallace.
Started his career at Auburn, didn't play in 2021. So his last series against Auburn was, he was highly motivated.
.319 average on the year for the lefty. 9 doubles, 5 home runs. Runners on first and second, and a grounder up the first baseline foul.
He is quick, and in that Auburn series, he was so geared up that they took advantage of that and threw him a lot of off-speed early with runners in scoring position. He could not lay off, and you saw him take that first pitch changeup. UCF's been watching that series as well, going back and going, all right, he's loaded up early in the count. We got to go off speed and go backwards on velo.
This ball's crushed out to right center field, way back there, and it is gone. Snell with a 3-run blast. His 6th home run of the season. And that will put Alabama in front 3-2.
Well, saw that first pitch changeup, and it was a good one. He came back up a little bit later. Here's that same changeup. It's actually a little bit better than the first one. And he's like, you're not fooling me again on that. He went hunting that, and that was a bomb to right center.
It's the 10th home run allowed by Stagliano this year. And just like that, after UCF took the lead in the top of the first, Alabama comes right back in the bottom with a 3-run homer from Cade Snell.
He's got some serious pop. The home run numbers do not show it. Just like that. 2-0, 3-2. Macassette back up at the plate now. Could have signed in the draft last year. Coach Vaughn spent some time re-recruiting him. Great lockdown catcher.
Veteran backstop for this Tide team, was named a semifinalist for the Buster Posey Award, given the nation's top catcher. And he fights one out, foul down the left side.
So he should like playing here. Buster Posey's name up on the wall out there. He is a great catch and throw defensive catcher.
Yep, there's Posey. And 11, J.D. Drew. Dick Hauser, of course, namesake of the stadium. Ball on 2 strikes to Gassetti.
How did he hit that?
His leadership has been invaluable to this team. I mean, when you have a new coach coming in, generally a lot of transfers, will leave or come in. Alabama and Coach Vaughn have done a good job of keeping the right players there. And a swing and a miss for Gassetti. And the throw down to first to complete the strikeout will retire the side, but not before Cade Snevinsville, the Purple Aces, taking down East Carolina today 4-1. And Coastal Carolina, winner of the College World Series in 2016, they beat Vanderbilt 13-3.
Wow. Yeah, those are some big upsets. I mean, the ECU one is shocking. They're still looking for their first trip to Omaha. Have hosted a super regional. Just could not make it all the way there. Losing game 1's going to hurt.
Elsewhere around the SEC, Florida, another team that wasn't so sure they were going to get in. Turns out that they were actually pretty safely in once the teams were announced. They took down Nebraska 5-2 in their opening round game. This ball is lined back up the middle into center field. And it'll be a leadoff base hit for Braden Calise. Got a feeling we could see some offense here in this one based on the first inning, huh?
They're getting ahead, and Ferrone leaves this breaking ball center cut. Calise just laces it into center.
So Coach Vaughn calling over Matt Cassetti here to maybe fix some of the pitch calm situation there. Technology's great when it works.
Yeah.
When it doesn't.
Yeah. And you got to completely get all the gear refix. But I talked about Gassetti calls most of the game. He'll glance in, get some help from Coach Vaughn.
Well, Greg, the NCAA Regionals coverage for all 16 sites continues tomorrow on ESPN Plus and the ESPN app. For more information, visit ncaa.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. So we got the gear and the technology all squared away. Braden Calise on first. Andrew Williamson will be the next batter in the 8-hole out in left field today. True freshman out of St. Petersburg, Florida. Coach Wallace said that Williamson's upside is as high as anybody on this team as he skies one out of play down the left side. Had 3 hits in the Big 12 tournament last week in the 3 games played, multi-hit game against Cincinnati in the opening round.
Uncle Sean Rodriguez played 15 years in the MLB.
And he crushes one out to right. Looking up is Hammeter, and this ball is gone. A 2-run homer for Andrew Williamson. We'll get the Knights back on top as we trade runs here in Tallahassee, the 5th Long ball of the year for Williamson. It is 4-3. Back and forth we go, Greg, here in the early. Coach Jason Jackson and the pitching coach who took over last year during the tumultuous time at Alabama. And Coach Jackson, widely regarded as one of the best pitching coaches in the entire country. And a lot of guys on this team, I think wanted Coach Jackson to potentially get the opportunity at the full-time job. Didn't work out that way. And Coach Vaughn told us a great story. I was talking to the athletic director at Alabama and said, look, I'm probably going to make my own staff. I'm not coming here if this is going to be a part of it. We got to make sure this is going to be my staff. And he said he got on the phone with Coach Jackson about 5 minutes, and that was it. That's all he needed to hear. And said the two have become excellent friends and great counterparts on this team. Mikey Kluska shoots one out to right center. That's TJ McCants out there. Transfer from Ole Miss makes the grab.
Yeah, but it was a great story because a lot of people thought Jason Jackson and the job he did to pull the Alabama baseball together at the end of the season, get them to a regional, deserved a shot at the job. And Greg Byrne, the AD, had other ideas and had his eyesights on Coach Vaughn, but then once they had that phone conversation, it was like everything started clicking, and about 2 hours later, he's like, I got to have this guy.
Back to the top of the lineup for UCF, and Andrew Brate, who struck out in his first at bat. But yeah, that was one of the first orders of business for Coach Vaughn, was after that conversation, we got to figure out how to keep this guy, which he did. Named him the associate head coach, remains the pitching coach as well. There's a chase. Cassetti up with it, and the throw down to complete the strikeout. 2 strikeouts to the leadoff hitter for UCF, Andrew Brate.
And the exact same pitch. Curveball at 58 feet. Well, whatever Jason Jackson said, he's highly motivated. Nice block by Cassetti back there. You cannot throw that pitch as a wipeout strikeout pitch if your catcher's not going to be back there and be a great backstop.
Just kind of finishing that conversation on Coach Jackson. Once he took over as the acting head coach, Alabama won 13 of their 19 games. And like you said, made it to a super regional. Probably wasn't the super regional that they would have had loved to go to, playing Wake Forest, the #1 overall seed, but
hey,
making a super regional nonetheless with all of the changes and getting thrust in the national news last year. Really incredible stuff, and a great breaking pitch there from Ferrone.
Yeah, the turmoil that they went through, and Jason Jackson to stabilize it and to get all the way to a super.
I don't think anybody expected them after all that was going on. Nobody expected them to make that run, and they did.
It was a really good team, and they were able to keep pieces of it, and obviously Jason Jackson was a big piece.
3-1 to Prevesk, and he swings under a fastball. Full count.
Prevesk is chasing that fastball up out of the zone. It's hard to go back there.
And this fastball is blooped into shallow left, and you see the agility there for LeBron to track that one down. So we continue. Conference like the Big 12 from the AAC is a challenge in and of itself, and to make it here to the NCAA tournament in year 1 has to be considered a massive success.
Oh no, he's done a great job, and got to see and talk to him yesterday. Worked at Creighton with one of my friends at Service. He has been around the block and gets this big chance right here.
TJ McCants rolls over one, and a quick out for Dom Stagliano back out on the mound after he gave up that 3-home run to Cade Snell in the first. He's now pitching back with a lead, but a 1-run lead. I'll venture a guess, Greg. I don't think the final score today is going to be 4-3.
You don't think we're going to have some shutdown innings here? And
it's just a guess.
Everything's going to settle in?
It's just a guess.
Well, all I know is that most of these guys are looking really hitterish to start the game. That's not something that any pitcher wants to see in all the hitters' eyes.
Will Hodo high in the sky to center field. Deepest part of the ballpark. It'll hold it for Williamson. 2 up, 2 down. So Stagliano, let's see if he can settle in.
Yeah, his first inning was 28 total pitches, 19 strikes, and doing what he has done so far. Started 5 of the first 6 hitters with strike 1. If you talk to any analytics person or baseball organization person, they preach strike 1 right off the get-go is the biggest pitch of the game.
Bryce Eblin missed over a month of action with a leg injury right in the middle of SEC play. And returned to action on April 12th, and admittedly, it's taken a little while to get back to full go. But another veteran Alabama player's 149th game for the Crimson Tide tonight. Actually came into the program as a two-way player, but hasn't pitched since his freshman year. He did get to pitch on the Cape, though, in the last two summers. They let him throw on the mound out in the Cape Cod League.
It's got to be a little bit of fun going back and getting some innings of work and getting the concept of what it feels like to be on the other side and to be able to actually do it at the college level is thoroughly impressive. But Eblin was out of the starting spot for a little while. Max Grant was playing second base. Grant was a little more offensive. Eblin's a little bit more of a solid defender.
And Eblin out to right center field. Williamson able to track it down in a nice 1-2-3 inning for Dom Stagliano.
The Big 12-2, Texas and Texas.
Texas won it.
Did I stump you? I think it's Texas and Texas.
They're both?
Yeah.
No other Big 12 team outside of Texas, huh?
Well, Okie State get one?
That was my guess. Have to do a little research there.
Yeah, sorry to spring that on you.
I'll get you back tomorrow. Tennessee, the #1 overall seed for the second time in the last 3 years. That place is going to be rocking tonight. They led the entire country, 147 home runs this year, 4th in ERA at .383. But the last time they were the #1 seed, Florida State's head coach knocked him out. Link Jarrett and Notre Dame went into Knoxville and handed that super regional team a loss and went on to the College World Series. So.
A couple Notre Dame guys on the field.
Cedarburg, swing and a miss.
It's chasing that Ferrone fastball out of the zone away. Cedarburg walked in the first, came around to score, but that ball's about 8 inches outside. Somebody just geared up, sees fastball, and I gotta go.
All 4 strikeouts tonight for Ferrone have come to the 1, 2, and 3 batters. Lex Bodecker, who worked a walk in his first at bat.
If you told me that we're in the 3rd inning and he's got 4 punch outs against the top 3 hitters in the UCF lineup, I'd said, you know what, things are going pretty good for him.
The ball's 2 strikes to Bodecker. Nobody aboard, 1 out here in the top of the 3rd inning. And he went around. Gassetti will complete the strikeout to first. Make it back-to-back strikeouts for the 2nd time in the game for Ferrone.
Bodecker couldn't lay off. 3rd strikeout on this hook in the dirt, and it's a good one. Guy gets his bat started to defend the bottom of the zone. Ends up at about 60 feet or 59 feet.
So we mentioned Ferrone started his career at Louisville, but prior to that, he was playing Division III JUCO ball. at Herkimer College in upstate New York.
He was actually recruited by Coach Vaughn.
Indeed he was. And, you know, it just goes to show you that all those young players watching out there, doesn't always start at the Division I level in the SEC. It's the way that players weave in and out of colleges now is just so different than it used to be, and there's a lot of different avenues to get to the same destination.
No, you nailed it. A lot of freshmen have come through the SEC and been gone in 1 year, go the JUCO route. And I'm thinking of Cade Snell, and end up bouncing back with a different team. And there's nothing wrong with starting your career at a D2, D3, JUCO. Show some people that you can play, and you will find your way onto a Division I team.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Jack Ziska. 5th-year senior, captain, transfer from Notre Dame. Leads this team 10 homers, 44 RBIs, career highs in hits and RBI. And he chases a fastball high, and Ferrone strikes out the side. So both starters settling in here. We go to the bottom of the 3rd, UCF with a 1-run lead. And go to the College World Series. Home half of the 3rd, back to the top of the order for Alabama, and Gage Miller singled and came around to score on that 3-run homer from Cade Snell back in the 1st. Alabama scoring all 3 in the 1st inning. Tom Stagliano worked a 1-2-3 in the last inning, and a fly ball out to left field, but Williamson makes the grab. It's now 5 in a row, sat down by Stagliano. He is settled in here, Greg.
Yeah, both starters actually have, over their last innings, 20 combined pitches, 14 strikes, 6 up, 6 down. There's a nice changeup to Gage Miller, just gets him on the front foot, a shade. Easy, we'll call it an F8, it should be an F7.
And Petrutz swinging away first pitch. Out behind second base, the shortstop Kluska calls everybody off. 2 up, 2 down. So since that 3-run homer, Stagliano has retired 6 straight.
Well, I figured these guys would get into a little bit of a rhythm. I wasn't expecting the damage to occur at that pace. You just knew both these guys would settle in. They've both been pitching a lot and have been in big moments. It's just a matter of getting settled into the game and making their pitches and getting their heartbeat down to a decent rate.
Here's Justin LeBron. Flied out to left in his first at bat. And I think folks in Alabama got a pretty good idea of the athlete and the ball player that LeBron was early on this season. First series of the year against Manhattan College, he hit the team's first home run. It was an inside the park home run. He had 4 hits, a double, and a homer in his first 3 collegiate games, and he rips one out to left field, back at the wall. It's out of here! LeBron's got 12 on the season. And we are tied.
This kid is going to be so good. Plus defender, power, speed, does a little bit of everything. This cut fastball does not get away.
There you go, get the helmet on. That's it. I don't think there should be another home run celebration for Alabama than throwing a football helmet on.
I think that one's pretty good. Yeah, I had not seen that.
That just fits. Will Hamiter swinging away. Back behind home plate, and Neareye runs out of room.
LeBron will cut fastball down and away, doesn't quite get there. And you can see the power, quick swing, quick twitch.
He is mature beyond his years, Greg. He was asked recently about all the accolades that he has received this year, and the first thing out of his mouth was, "I'm not in this position without my teammates."
Yeah.
That's all. He gives all the credit to his teammates and coaching staff, pitching staff, but yeah, you're right. He is going to continue to receive a lot of accolades in his career, but it just goes to show you the kind of person he is.
Yeah, I hadn't seen him until the Auburn series and interviewed Coach Vaughn, and he just, first words out of his mouth, superstar. And I was like, wow.
Hammer goes around and strikes out. Neareye has to chase it down and throw to first to complete the strikeout. Side Rob Vaughn, Coach, we appreciate it. I got to ask you about your freshman, Justin LeBron, and what we saw. Obviously, he makes the incredible plays defensively, but he makes the routine plays. You talk about how he's a superstar and continues to always put praise on his teammates rather than on himself. Talk about what he has meant to your group.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question the ability's real, but the human is what's so special. You know, coached a lot of kids, man, a lot of special kids over my career. I've been really fortunate to do that, and just the type of kid he is from day one. I mean, I flew to Miami to meet with him and his family. After I got the job, it was the first place I went, and man, when you spend 5 minutes with his mom and dad, and you understand exactly why he is who he is. So special kids, special players, a big swing for him right there. And we were talking yesterday, man, the moment just doesn't get big for that kid. He loves the moment. He's not perfect every time in it, but he loves the moment and loves competing. So big swing for us right there.
Routine fly ball out to right field, and the catch is made by Hammer out there. Go ahead, Greg.
Tell us about Greg Ferrone. A little bit of issues early on. Looked like he was going to have a day after those first two punch-outs.
Yeah, you know, I think everybody's amped up for the Rage. I don't know. It's been a while since Greg's seen a 5 on the scoreboard, and you know, just probably overthrown a little bit right there. And you know, he did a lot for us. I mean, he threw the last weekend at Auburn, threw on Thursday, threw 102 pitches, bounced back, and threw on Tuesday for us. So we skipped his pin on Saturday just to give him a breather, you know, and threw a pin this week. And you know, he told me afterwards, like, I feel great. I just feel a little bit out of sync, and some of that is just getting back on the mound, and we just need this game to settle a little bit. I think both sides would tell you that. You know, it's just been some freebies, some homers. This game will settle one way or the other, and just need Greg to settle in and make some pitches and give us a little bit of length. And he's been our guy all year, man. He's done such a great job of minimizing getting into games, and I think what makes starters good is it ain't hard to pitch when you have your ace stuff. You know, it's when your command's a little down, when you're missing a breaking ball or you can't feel the changeup, and you just got to compete your way through it. And Greg does a tremendous job of that, and that's what I expect him to do tonight.
That's Coach Rob Vaughn. Coach,
thanks, Coach. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks, boys. Roll Tide.
I knew he was going to give you the Roll Tide after that.
Yeah, why?
I've seen a lot of coaches do that. Kara Jackson gave him the MIZ over at Missouri. Everybody's got a little something before they hang up.
I feel like it's rude if I go War Eagle back. You know, I mean, I'm not. You know, I'm just giving my thing. And oh, he's a good man. He really is. I thoroughly enjoy talking to him. And
this ball is poked in the right off the bat of Khalees. He's got 2 hits today.
This one's just a little bit of old school. You know what? I'm going to take what you're giving me, fastball away. I can shoot one through that little gap between first and second. Does that, gets things started again. This is just, I mean, it's just a nice piece of hitting. It's old school. Find a way to get on base. You're going to pitch me away, I'll just shoot it over there.
1 out base runner for Andrew Williamson, and he skies one out to center field. McCants is there for out number 2. And just kind of finishing the conversation on Rob Vaughn and the coach that he is. Obviously well regarded as one of the more talented young coaches in the game, but what he did at Maryland, I mean, is unbelievable. That program was not a program that is known for having a ton of success, and yet, you know, they were hosting regionals when he was there. And
yeah,
he has done an incredible job, not only during his time at Maryland, but now coming over to the SEC and making the NCAA tournament in year 1 with a lot of turnover.
Yeah, and I mean, Greg Burns was looking at it going, I got a guy in mind, and what he did at Maryland, and like you said, that was not a baseball school.
No, he rebuilt that program, was the Big Ten Coach of the Year in back-to-back years, 22 and 23, as this ball is laced out to left off the bat of Williamson. And UCF has him first and second. And he's just the perfect fit at Alabama.
Kluska gets fastball in. The spins on it first pitch.
How about the bottom of this UCF batting order against Greg Ferrone today? Khalees with 2 hits, Williamson the 2-run homer and a single there.
Yeah, the top of the lineup's done absolutely nothing. A couple of walks. His bottom half has been getting it done. I don't know, I mean, I found it interesting what Coach Vaughn said about skipping his start and giving him a breather. And he's like, I feel great. I'm just off. And it's amazing when you skip a bullpen session or you don't throw for a couple days, how just release points are a little off and your body's just a little out of sync. And there's a lot to it that at the age of Greg Ferrone right now, he probably wouldn't understand that was the reason. And it was just from my experience of life of throwing a baseball, that 3 days off of me not throwing in a game, I'm out of sync without throwing bullpens and everything else. And so there's a lot to it, and I'm sure Coach Vaughn will learn from that experience moving forward of what to do, what not to do with your starting guy that you want on game one of the regional.
Mikey Kluska, the shortstop, flied out to center field in his first at bat, and the 2-1 pitch flared back out of play. Senior transfer from Richmond, back up to the top and great. Kluska singled in his at bat.
Brait has not seen Ferrone well. There's been a couple of wipeout breaking balls at the bottom of the zone, and me being a pitcher, I'm going back to it now.
There it was, and he got a ground out. Underhand toss to first, and that'll get him out of it. Kind of in your introductory press conference, it felt like you were coming home, and I mean, what a homecoming it has been this year. You guys now into the NCAA tournament, first year in the Big 12, not an easy thing to do. Talk about the fight of your guys and how big it was last week in the Big 12 tournament.
Yeah, this has been a really fun group to coach. They're tough as heck, and I've just enjoyed coaching them since day one.
Tay, tell us about Staggs. A little bit early on, scuffled, big 3-run home run, but it seems like it's been about 2 pitches, and he's settling in now.
You said it, Greg. There's 2 bad pitches in there. I think if he locates those a little better, it might be 4-0 here, but he didn't, and we're going to have to battle through this. And he's done this before. He's pitched through some tough spots, and we got all the trust in the world in him.
All right, Coach, we appreciate it.
Thanks,
Let's get back to work.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
I want to talk about doing a good job. Coach Rich Wallace has done a phenomenal job in a difficult spot at UCF, but means a lot to him. Cade Snell swinging first pitch, and communication out there. Prevesk makes the catch for out number 1.
First pitch swinging, gets his fastballs. I'm talking about Snell, but yeah, Wallace has done a great job. It's been a joy to talk to all 4 of these coaches in this regional, but he is just, really appreciative of getting it back home. He's been at some of the better better college baseball programs across the country as an assistant.
Matt Cassetti struck out in his first at bat. Yeah, Rich Wallace has built one of the best pitching staffs really quickly. He brought over Norberto Lopez from Miami. The 2 were always kind of fighting for recruits when Wallace was at Notre Dame and Florida State. Lopez was at Miami. And Coach Wallace said Norberto was kind of kicking his butt on the recruiting trail. And he asked if he would kind of join up and join teams together. It was a quick conversation, which he did. Wallace and Lopez, both catchers by trade as well. So you can see the faith that they have in Danny Neary back there behind the plate. Cassetti in the air. Out to right, and Ziska makes the catch. How many pop-outs and fly-outs have we seen today?
I was thinking the same thing. I mean, the first game, it was adventure when the ball went up the air, and it seemed like about 70% of everything that was an out was just a routine high fly ball. And that's what we're seeing right now on some of these balls. The team's just unable to get on top of it. Usually means the guy's got a high spin rate. He's able to pitch up. I know Ferrone's got a high spin rate. TJ McCants going in for an offensive meeting real quick. Probably just trying to go through, hey, need you to take a pitch. It's been a quick inning right here with about 3 pitches.
McCants, a veteran guy himself, transferring over from Ole Miss.
It'd be more fun if I said there was a conversation where you're actually like, hey, I need you to hit a home run here. We need to take the lead. And McCants having a resurgence
Yeah.
in Alabama after a great year a couple years ago at Ole Miss. So much for my theory on taking a pitch and letting the sequence get into it a little bit.
There's another guy that provided some experience and SEC experience for some of the losses from last year in the outfield. And there it goes. Out to right. McCants with a home run, points to the dugout as he trots around the bases. He's got 15 home runs on the year. Coach Ralph Vaughn likes what he's seeing. That's the third home run hit by 3 different players already in this game for Alabama, and they take the lead right back, 5-4.
All right, so maybe he did say, I need you to hit a home run here. We need to take the lead. Kind of curious, though, because first pitch fastball, McCants comes unglued, foul ball straight back. Me as a pitcher goes, I need to throw something off speed, a changeup, cutter, and Stagliano goes with a changeup, leaves it inner half. And McCants takes it out on top of the circus tent out and right.
Fastball for a strike to Will Hodo. 15th homer of the year for McCants. Alabama was kind of middle of the pack in the SEC in home runs this year. 87 coming into the regional, but I think 87 in a lot of other different leagues is probably pretty close to the top, but in the SEC, they're 7th.
Yeah, well, I think everything's been a little bit down since Mississippi State.
Yeah.
And all the offensive numbers, and it took them at least a week to get most of the guys back on track. Some of the power guys still haven't really got back on track. But yeah, I mean, middle of the pack, home run numbers, you look around and, I mean, solid offensive lineup that can get it done.
Hodo the other way against the shift, and a nice play by Calise there. Throwing it across of the night in the Tallahassee Regional between Alabama and UCF. Tide took a 1-run lead off the TJ McCants home run. Greg Ferrone back out on the bump. Alongside Greg Olson, Sam Ravitch, our wonderful crew here in Tallahassee. Working hard in the heat. 93 degrees today in Tallahassee. I decided to walk over here, Greg, this morning.
And?
I mean, I was sweating about halfway up Varsity Drive here in Tallahassee. And trying to get some exercise in, but sweat through the shirt right away.
Did you bring a backup shirt? I mean, that'd be the veteran move where you bring a workout shirt and then you go into the ESPN logo.
Yeah, that might be the move tomorrow. 3-0 pitch in for a called strike.
I decided it was too hot and I was just going to drive over, knowing that FSU was playing the day game, so traffic wasn't going to be too bad getting back to the hotel.
Sounds like you thought it out a lot more than I did, but it's a leadoff walk for Prevesk. Oh, how about that, David Ross? Tallahassee native.
Auburn boy.
There we go.
There's Auburn boys everywhere.
David Ross went to Florida High, which was about 50 feet over the left field wall here. He was born in Georgia, grew up in Tallahassee.
He's a great, it's a great story. 97 year, he's the backup catcher to Casey Dunn, who's now the UAB head coach. And I mean, Dunn's an All-American. Ross isn't playing very much. Dunn breaks his wrist in the regionals here in Tallahassee. Hometown boy comes up, takes over the starting catching job, hits a 2-run home run to win a game and send Auburn to the regional over Florida State. Well, the next year, he and Dunn are the same age. So Dunn's going to start again, and Ross isn't going to get to play very much, and he goes to Hal Baird, and Hal Baird goes, I'll let you transfer to Florida. And then I talked to Hal Baird later on, and he laughs at me, and he goes, we weren't playing Florida for the next 2 years, so it really wasn't going to affect me. And I love the kid, and gone on to have a great big league career, manager of the Cubs, and the only guy that could lean out the window and say, War Eagle, and not get in trouble here on this half of the field.
No doubt. He's probably, they made a move over there. I think he thought he might be taking a picture, but they said, oh, these are our seats. They must be friends, yeah. I think and Rossi was one of the few players who played in the College World Series at 2 different universities, although that's probably going to change now with all the transfer portal, but this was back before the transfer portal was really a thing.
Yeah, I mean, nobody transferred.
No.
And transferring within the conference was rare, if ever happened.
Matt Cedarberg 0 for 1 with a walk today. This ball's gap-headed out to left center, and it'll one-hop up off the wall. Preves being waved around. LeBron's throw home. Not in time. We are tied again. RBI double for Matt Cedarberg. Gets us knotted at 5 again.
I think it's going to be the last team that bats, Sam.
Yeah.
UCF just keeps finding a way to answer this fastball inner part of the plate, and Cedarberg drills it into left center. Deepest part of the ballpark, 1 hop, doesn't matter how quick. Got a little bit of a miscommunication stop sign over there at third base. Leadoff walk comes around to score about 71% of the time.
I think you certainly have to think about LeBron's arm there as a relay throw. But plenty of time for Berger. Last pitched in the opening round of the SEC tournament, and there's a bunt back to the mound. Heiberger to first, unable to advance the runner there for Lex Bodek.
Heiberger fastball, slider, changeup. Fastball's gonna be in the low 90s, 2-0 on the year, 5.75. Lefties actually hit higher for batting average by almost 200 points over right-handed hitters. And that was a sacrifice bunt that just went awry. Matt Cedarberg did not run on that bunt. Not sure if he didn't see the sign.
So even though Alabama lost in that opening round game to South Carolina in Hoover, one of the bright spots was Heiberger. 2 innings, only allowed 1 run on 1 hit.
He's got good stuff. Just had struggled throughout the season, got hot in the end. And that will find him walking into a game right here that is 5-5, game on the line with a runner on second.
Jack Ziska, the batter, 1-1 out in front, ahead of the fastball at 93. Ziska had the 2-run RBI double back in the first. That got things going for UCF, but we have just traded leads and traded runs.
That might be the longest shoelace I have ever seen on a baseball spike. He just tripped over it. It got caught. It's so long. He got his foot caught in his shoelace after that pitch. Looked in like timeout. So.
Yeah, those are some long laces there. And Ziska line shot down the line. That's going to score Cedarberg. Second double of the game for Jack Ziska. And he's got 3 of the team's 6 runs batted in.
Fastball in. Last one was to left field, almost identical.
Yeah.
I'm starting to kind of go, this guy is a fastball hooking machine. Ziska can get the head out, spins that one left field. UCF finds a way to answer again when they get behind.
Brings up his former Notre Dame teammate, Danny Neary. Ziska's got 13 doubles on the season now. Moorey's 0 for 2. Danny was essentially a last-minute add to this UCF team. He stayed at Notre Dame through December so that he'd be able to graduate in 3.5 years. He entered the portal in December, didn't arrive to campus in Orlando until January. You see the couple of transfers there with Power 5 experience for Coach Wallace and UCF.
How about graduating in 3.5 years?
Yeah, from Notre Dame. That is a challenge and a feat in and of itself. Got a chance to talk to Danny yesterday. You can tell why the coaching staff just loves him. Wanted to come a little bit closer to home. He's from McClenny, Florida. He was the hero in the opening round game of the Big 12 tournament against Cincinnati. He became the first player in the history of the tournament to hit 3 homers in a single game. Slaps this one the other way. LeBron down to scoop it. 2 outs.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. 3 home runs in a game, and you can see the athleticism of LeBron right there. Makes that soft ground ball to shortstop look easy.
Braden Calise, the batter, with 2 away, and he hits one on the ground towards second. Eblin will field it. Hodo late to the bag, and he's safe. Calise tumbles into right field, and he's up limping. I'm not quite sure where Will Hodo was going there, Greg, but he was a little bit slow to get back to first.
Well, here's what was happening: was the second baseman Eblin was keeping the runner close at second, so he's over there. Hodo's not quite sure, and that's a ground ball that's closer towards second base. He takes 1 step for it, and then he's not able to get back and make the turn. He's standing on the bag, and Calise looks like he steps on a toe, goes a little bit sideways right there. Infield single.
So, you know, it was something interesting, Greg, that we saw at Hoover this year where they had that green base next to first, so that it was the 2 bases to eliminate plays like that. And it worked well, I think, at Hoover. And it just, you know, you avoid situations like that where there's potential collisions with the first baseman and the base runner.
Yeah, Hodo's had his struggles lately at the bag at first base. And that one, you know, you're in scramble mode, so you're not trying to find the edge of the bag. You're trying to get to the bag and get turned so you can get the throw. But unfortunate break. Should have been the 3rd out. And we've already seen today when you don't get that 3rd out when it is given to you, bad things tend to happen.
Runners on the corners, and a check swing from Williamson is fouled off. Williamson, the 2-run homer in the second. Ziska on third, Calise on first, and the 1-1. Get outside.
Merberger's working fast, trying to work away to these left-handed hitters. Alabama in a little bit of a modified shift. Miller's home at third base, and then LeBron is right behind second.
Good off speed there from Heiberger.
See if UCF puts on a little bit of a play here. 1st and 3rd, 2 outs, 2 strikes on the hitter. Lefty-lefty matchup. See Kentucky and some other teams, the runner will take off and look like he falls down. getting off the bag. Left-handed pitcher sees that, starts to run at him, and that runner at third base is off and gone.
And a called strike 3. Big strikeout for Matt Heiberger. It is 6-5 UCF.
Up there in the lights. Buck's just sitting there watching the game.
You're going to have a word with the
I mean,
Hawk?
Here it comes. Watch. That little dude right there. Get away from my nest.
He's toying with him. This ball hit sharply towards first off the bat of Eblin. And Bodecker will take it himself. A couple of other scores to update you on here, Greg. Long Island University is leading 3-2 over North Carolina. North Carolina, number 4 overall national seed in the top of the 5th. VCU has a 1-0 lead over Wake Forest. Northern Kentucky out to an early 1-0 lead over Tennessee.
There's some trepidation going on across the country right now in these home field advantages. This isn't supposed to happen to us, Sam.
Anything is possible come playoff time, postseason.
Well, my regional last year.
Where were we last year?
UPenn beats Auburn in game 1 at home in front of a packed, sold-out house, and it was like, all right, wow.
Always got to keep an eye out on these Ivy League teams. Columbia caused some problems, I think, 1 or 2 years ago, playing down at Virginia Tech.
Like I said, one of my favorite times of the year. Anything can happen.
Gage Miller laces one out to left. 2 for 3 so far today for the leadoff man for the Tide.
Cut fastball, middle of the plate. And the dude can hit. I told you in the open. Best player you've never seen. Bishop State. And he could just flat out hit.
One out single for Miller brings up Ian Petrutz. Crimson Tide did not end the regular season all that well. 1-3 in the last 4, just 2 wins in the last 6. And like we said, lost the opening round game in Hoover to South Carolina, but you know, given everything Alabama's been through and the food poisoning incident at Mississippi State, like even Coach Vaughn said and admitted maybe it was a bit of a blessing in disguise to get our guys some rest ahead of this week, because this was a team that was in the top 25 for a good chunk of the first half of the year.
Yeah, and that Mississippi State debacle set them back a little bit. They end up going out there with a couple pitchers out in the outfield.
Yep.
They just didn't have anybody that was functional to play.
They had to send quite a few guys to the hospital.
Yeah.
2-0 to Petrutz, and he hits one the other way towards short. Kluska to second, back to first. Nice stretch by Bodecker, but ball didn't get there in time, so they get the force at second, and there are 2 outs.
How quick is Kluska? That was just amazing. Quick hands. Cutter fastball in on the hands and just lightning to even get that. I was sitting there watching the play going, this is going to be bang bang at second. It was bang bang at first.
All 30 SEC games, he had 342 with 4 doubles and 5 home runs in what is widely considered the best conference in baseball this year. Swings through a changeup, 1-1.
Yeah, it was funny because in the fall, you know, Coach Vaughn's like, all right, you know, I really don't want to start a freshman at shortstop. And then all of a sudden they get a couple weeks into fall, he goes, I'm starting a freshman at shortstop. Started out in the first part of the season.
And he rips one to right center. That'll drop for a base hit. It'll roll all the way to the wall. LeBron up to second. They're going to wave around, now holding Petrutz at third. So second and third with 2 outs after the double from LeBron. And he can just hit
I was wondering what was going to happen right here. Nice job in center field by Williamson to get this ball in quickly. Brate gets the cut. Excuse me, that's Kluska gets the cut. You can see the late breaks. But Kluska was being blocked out by LeBron. I was like, if he comes up throwing, he's got LeBron, who's bigger than he is, right in his way. And LeBron at Castellano.
Castellano has been about as good as you can be as a pitcher this year. 6-0. And first pitch swinging for Hammeter runs out of play, but 56 innings, 66 strikeouts. And you talk about an improvement. Last year he had a 6.48 ERA over 25 innings.
Really found his spot coming in, kind of like they're doing this now in college baseball. Guys don't get deep. They go 5 innings, 4 innings, and they bring in a piggyback guy who's the exact opposite to change things up, switch up the batting order, take advantage of the lefties that were starting out. But he's going to throw a fastball 58% of the time. It's going to be about 90. Change-up, slider, curveball, on the very rare occasion a curveball, but good low batting average against that change-up.
It's got Hammeter in an 0-2 count, and that just misses the corner for ball 1. Hammeter has Petrutz on third, LeBron on second with 2 outs. It has been a back and forth game. Hit on the ground into the shift. Charging is Brate, and he will throw out Hammeter at first. So Castellano does his job, strands a couple in scoring position and holds on. So that is a dangerous 4 seed too. Oral Roberts with the run they had last year.
A couple of serious regionals matched up against each other.
So there is a world in which you have a rematch of the ACC championship game. This ball down the right field line out of play off the bat of Kluska.
That world's just gotten a little further away, though, moving into the losing bracket.
It has. Duke coming off that huge win in Charlotte over Florida State. And only able to put up 1 run against Jim Pender's UConn squad. UCF will have 9-1-2 due up.
Everybody's got an ace now. You know, game 1 against anybody can be game on if they come out throwing a Paul Skeens at Air Force or something like that, where you go walking into a nasty situation and just can't seem to find a way to get out of it. How many 1 seeds do you got losing today? What do you think?
Well, we've had ECU. They lost. I would probably go 3. 3 of the 16. We got some late games out west tonight.
Man, that would be, well, I saw it last year. Again, it's just a shocking situation. The 1 versus 4, and you're at home. And a lot of these 1 teams will not throw their ace. Big strikeout on a fastball up. Heiberger's back-to-back strikeouts now. But a lot of these teams won't throw their number 1 on against a 4 seed, thinking that if I can have him on day 2 in the winner's bracket, I pretty much am walking to Omaha.
Florida State did it today.
Yeah.
They'll have Jamie Arnold tomorrow, who's been their ace, but Carson Dorsey was an out away from going a complete game in game 1. So, you know, it's certainly a risk. But, you know, the 1 seed is theoretically supposed to win the region. So, you know, all of the pressure is on the 1 seeds.
Well, we've seen Alabama through their ace tonight, Ferrone. You could go back and forth between Stagliano and Vespi.
UCF would like to get Brate going in this game. It's one on a couple of hops to LeBron. 2 away. Well, yeah, the 1 seeds, again, 67% have won their regional. 2 seeds, 20%. So there's a significant drop-off from the 1 to the 2 seeds. Now, there are some exceptions there. We mentioned Oral Roberts last year. Fresno State in 08 That was a pretty good year for them.
Pretty good run late to get into the playoffs and
Yes.
then make the run. Only team with a losing record to win the College World Series. That was a nice little stat. I like that.
A lot of numbers for you, Craig. You're a numbers guy, though.
I'm a numbers guy.
You love all the analytics and the stats.
Not all. I'm getting better. There's a lot of information that can be gleaned from the analytics about who the players are.
You just have to know where to look because there's so many numbers.
Yeah.
So you just got to sift through some of it. And
Yeah, some of the Z-whiff stuff I could probably do without, or
Yeah.
the ZW, OBA, yeah, too much information.
Prevesk singles back up the middle. That's his first hit of the game.
Stays inside the ball. You can see nice flat swing. Struggled early against Ferrone. Was more than happy to see him leave the game. 1 for 3 now, but nice left-handed stroke. Gets a fastball inner half and stays inside of it and takes it back up the box. That almost looked like a look of disgust that he had on his face at first base, like, I'll take the hit, but I don't like that.
Not good enough, yeah. We mentioned UCF's home ballpark isn't exactly a home run ballpark. Matt Cedarberg flips one back out of play. Just 57 home runs on the year for UCF in a year in which you have a lot of teams hitting over 100. But they're going to need to pitch it well here this week, I think, if they want to make a deep run into this regional.
No, I totally agree. And I mean, they're in a much more hitterish ballpark.
Yes.
With right field being so short, and then after the tornado, they lost 10 feet to the fence.
Yeah, you're going to look at that chain link fence. By the way, anything off that fence is in play, but it has shrunk by 10 feet since the storms that blew through here on May 10th. This one rolled over towards third. Charging is Miller. Off balance throw is it in.
Doing a little scouting. As soon as he hits the social media posts.
Got to get the social media posts in, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's priorities. He had a good game today.
I can't imagine how much fun that would be, is to win game 1 and then go, you know, I'm going to go hang out and watch game 2 and just soak in a little baseball atmosphere.
Well, that's the bonus of playing in the noon game, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, it could go really great like it did for Florida State, or it could be a nightmare like it maybe was for an ECU team. But they're sitting pretty right now.
It was a fascinating conversation, and I really appreciated Coach Jarrett being honest with his thought process on why he played the noon game, because I've been here for night games versus Florida, versus Miami. The place is nuts. And so I was going, okay, you're going to lose a little bit of that edge to play a noon game, but you get away from the weather. And he goes, it's such a long series, you know, 4 days possibly. It's so exhausting that I figured, the more time that I could get for my guys.
Right. And you got to remember, we are in Florida, Tallahassee, so sometimes there tends to be those late afternoon showers, which can really hurt you if you send one of your aces out there and you get him going, then you get a 2-hour rain delay.
That's a factor. So they get rain here?
A little bit. Snell out to left, and a shoestring grab for Prevec. Now the NCAA Regionals coverage of all 16 sites continues tomorrow on ESPN Plus and the app. For more information, visit ncaa.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. Who's a couple of teams that any dark horse teams that you kind of have an eye on out of the 64?
I think the Vanderbilt one was shocking.
Yeah. Coastal maybe making a run?
I mean, Florida was thought of so highly, and they got into the SEC. The bullpens, all freshmen, got exposed. But very talented. They might be able to make a run. LSU got scorching hot at the end. You know, I've been kind of stuck in the SEC all year. Glance around a little bit, but what do you got? Dark horse.
Jim Pender's UConn Huskies.
Yeah.
I honestly think they could make it out of that Norman Regional and come here. And they've pitched it as well as anybody in the country this year. They have for the last couple of years. The only question was the offense, and that started to pick up a little bit.
Well, you don't need much if you pitch.
No, you don't. No, you don't. And that was a Duke team that just put up a 16 spot against Florida State a couple days ago, and they held them to 1 run today.
That's my theory. I'm just going to try to score one more than you.
Yep.
And if I pitch really good, sometimes I might only need 2 or 3. And they got 4 today, only needed 2. Good at bat going on right now.
Cassetti is 0 for 2. Now, in many ways, Cassetti is the heartbeat of this Alabama team. On the field and off the field. And he lines one towards short on 1 hop. Kleska, long throw to first, and a nice stretch by Bodecker to record the second out of the inning.
Change up down and away, came out knuckling. Kleska, nice solid play, plays it back knowing it's going to be a tough hop on his back foot. Got a couple of nice shortstops here today. This is it's an enjoyable watch for me. Athletic, make the plays.
Yeah, Lodis for Florida State, transfer from UNF. Really good shortstop. There's TJ McCants. You mentioned the turnaround for McCants this year, Greg. Coach Vaughn said that he wishes he could take some credit for making a bunch of adjustments for TJ, but this is a guy that already had the tools. It was just they worked on getting his timing a little bit better. And
ultra talented freshman All-American a couple years ago at Ole Miss. It just feels like maybe a little bit of a change of scenery. You got a guy like this batting in the 7th spot, tells a little bit about your offense.
Castellano, the 0-2, a check swing. McCants went around, and the throw down to first is in time. A 1-2-3 for the relief. Alabama, and Matthew Heiberger has done pretty well. 2 innings, just 3 hits, no runs. Just kind of quelled this UCF offense a bit.
Hey, you just kind of got your hot guy on the mound, got hot at the end of the year. He comes into a big spot, and his whole job is just to settle things down and keep his team in the game until the bats continue to wake up. Nice little wipeout slider.
It's kind of interesting, Greg. Alabama doesn't put the shift on right away in the at-bat. They try to work into the advantage count, and then they move Gage Miller over into the shift.
Well, there's a little bit of, I mean, the analytics now on college baseball is unbelievable. You can go through and look at a guy, counts, what he does against every pitch and every count. There's a whole bunch to it. So you see that, and then you factor in, all right, I got Heiberger on the mound, lefty-lefty matchup, good slider. I'm going to shade over a bit. He's probably, the chance of him hitting it over third base where there isn't a guy is 5%.
Right.
I'll take my shot on loading up the infield. So if he's able to stay inside this slider away and just carve it down the third base line, it's going to be a stand-up double.
Bodecker fouls one off his foot.
He just can't do it. The change of pace, he is just out front of that slider.
He's been really good at first. Might be one of the better first basemen here in this regional. Just 5 errors on the year, but he has not had a hiccup since April 12th. And that pitch just missing for Heiberger. He wanted it, and it works the count full, 3-2.
Well, that's Cassetti moving that ball about 3 inches back to the corner, trying to steal a strike. And Heiberger is a pitcher. You're seeing the last foot. You don't really see the frame.
Same spot, same result, and a leadoff man aboard for UCF in Bodecker.
But I got to tip my cap to Dave Condon behind home plate. It's been a solid zone, very consistent. Haven't had any barking from any dugouts. No catchers turning around looking, asking where something was. Until now. No, he was talking about a timeout and a trip, making sure that he was on the same page with the amount of trips that he can go out to the mound. We got a righty warming up in the Alabama pen.
And Jack Ziska coming to the plate, so this is probably a good time for a meeting because Ziska's got 2 doubles and has driven in 3 runs today. It's 2 for 3 at the plate.
It's been the exact same thing I said about Gage Miller. So you can't sneak a piece of cheese past a rat. Ziska has been on time on fastballs, drilling them.
Struck out 2 over an inning of work in the loss to South Carolina in Hoover's last time out. Got Bodecker on first and a filthy curveball in for a strike to Jack Ziska.
That might have been Gassetti stealing a strike right there. Looked a little bit out. Braylon Myers working fast. Home plate umpire Dave Condon tells him to step off. The hitter has a chance to be alert and ready by 10 seconds on the clock.
Big cut and a miss, 75-mile-an-hour curveball.
Interesting. Well, I'm seeing Jason Jackson, and I'm looking at Ziska right now, and he hits 203 on the slider with a 36% whiff over the season. And you bring in a guy that can flat out spin a slider. Smart move.
He's pretty good at his job, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those where I got a guy.
Just a piece to the puzzle. The slider misses low, and Ziska holds up on it.
Well, that's the key to running a bullpen, is giving your guys a good opportunity in good situations, in manageable matchups, and assuming that they're going to take care of their business. And if you got good guys and you put them in good spots, they'll get the job done for you. And nobody will think anything about all the brilliance of your matchups and moves and everything else that you did.
Ziska, one of 17 transfers to make their way to Orlando this season. Myers checks on Bodecker over there at first.
Bodecker's got 10 steals. The thing to watch now in the game is Myers needs to be quick to home plate. Gassetti is a flat-out lockdown catcher behind the plate. I'm going to be shocked if they try to run on this arm. He's thrown out 16 base runners this year.
One of the many reasons why he's on that Buster Posey Award watch list as a semifinalist.
Yeah, a couple of games I've had him, he's made some plays where I'm just like, no. He did not just pick a short hop and throw the best base runner out in the country. I don't get the UCF fans. I don't know why they always keep booing, because every time they boo when I throw over, I just do it more often. You know, it's like that little child that, oh, you know what, you don't like when I do that and poke you.
You can't do that in the big leagues anymore. You can't pick off 6 times.
Nope, capped at 3. Yeah, that's been an interesting piece. There's been a lot of interesting pieces that would be a rabbit hole that you could send me down and we could spend the next couple hours talking about, but I don't think we should.
We got a long weekend for all that. We will certainly dive into some of those big league changes. Bodecker fakes the steal. It's a ball down, so it's a full count to Ziska. Well, it looks like Bodecker is at least in the back of the mind of Myers right now.
He's affecting the play. He's getting pretty decent jumps and then hitting the brakes, coming back. The whole defense screams going.
Now he's taken off. A called strike 3. Throw down to second is in time. Strike him out, throw him out for Alabama. Macasetti with his 17th caught stealing. We will have a review. Yep, and the call is confirmed. Out at second. UCF fans don't like it, but a strike him out, throw him out for Alabama, and Macasetti clears the base pass and puts 2 outs on the board.
I told you he was really good.
Got it right.
UCF trying to create a little bit of movement, get things started, and just as easily could have been first and second, nobody out. Instead, it's 2 outs, nobody on. Myers with a little filthy changeup right there.
Danny Neary 0 for 3. Has put the ball in play all 3 times. UCF, though, already 9 strikeouts in this game.
It's like, I was kind of shocked in going through the stats here, and Ferrone had 6 punch outs in the 4 innings. Yeah. And it just felt like, man, if he could have figured out a way to navigate, it could have been a really good game because he had some put away stuff.
Yeah, that's going to be a walk to Neary. Just the 15th walk of the year.
Myers has been solid. Lowest ERA for Alabama for their relievers. Actually, anybody.
7-hole hitter Braden Calise has had himself a day. 3 singles, one in the 2nd, 4th, and 5th. And a fastball in for strike 1. All told, 23 new players made their way to Orlando to play for Coach Wallace ahead of this season. We said 17 of those players were transfers. 12 of them had Power 5 experience.
He's done a nice job getting guys, and he wants to get the in-state guys and get some of these guys that want to come back home.
1-1. Breaking pitch, hitting the hole towards short. LeBron, off balance throw. Ooh. Another close call, but it's safe on the field as Calise able to beat it out for his 4th single of the game. But there you got a little glimpse of that athleticism from LeBron.
Well, I was just about to say he has tied his season and career high in hits in a game. Well, that's out the window now. We got 4 hits in a game, all singles. He has been hot, though, the last series against Baylor in the Big 12 tournament. 9 hits, all singles, couple RBI. How about that LeBron play?
Beat it by a step. Big cut from Williamson now. So a walk and a single after the strike him out, throw him out. And the Knights would really like to add a couple of insurance runs here if they can with 2 outs. Catches a piece for strike 2 to Williamson.
You're just sitting there and you're talking about the strike him out, throw him out, and looking what could have been.
No doubt. UCF 4 for 10 in this game with 2 outs. Alabama's 5 for 11, so both teams have had some 2-out hits. And this ball off the end of the bat. Gage Miller up with it, and that will do it for the top of the 7th. Nobody has Wake Forest and ECU playing in the elimination game.
Wow.
Welcome to June, starting tomorrow.
Well, I'm going to get home and watch Rally Cal.
No doubt.
Get caught up on the goings on.
here in the Tallahassee Regional. Florida State took down Stetson earlier today, 7-2, so they await the winner of this one. UCF has held on to this one-run lead 6-5 for the last couple of innings. Alabama's bats have gone a little bit quiet off the reliever, Dom Castellano. Castellano has been excellent his last couple of outings. He hasn't allowed a run in his last 5 2/3 now. He's only allowed 2 hits.
I mean, if there's a knock on Castellano, it's that the walks are slightly elevated. 23 and 56 innings. In a 3-1 count right now.
Hodo hits one into the shift towards second. Andrew Brate cleans it up. One away in the home half of the 7th.
Got Andrew Brate deep into right field right there. He's got to go in attack mode and get rid of that thing so quick. But just taking away the opportunity for Hodo to hit something real hard through that 43 hole.
Mason Sweeney will pinch hit here in the spot for Bryce Evelyn, who was 0 for 2.
We'll move over to second base. It's a shot. Alabama down to 8 outs left. Looking for a little offense to roll over in front of Gage Miller.
Sweeney 55 at bats this year, 13 hits. Big on-base guy too, 16 walks.
That was just mean-spirited right there. Guy coming off the bench thinking he's hunting fastball, and you throw this nasty change up on the outside corner.
Hits one towards short, charging on it is Kluska. A couple of ground outs here to start out the bottom of the 7th inning, and Castellano just continues to cruise. We have seen a lot of fly balls, Greg. Castellano will get some ground outs for you.
Yeah, he is rolling some ground balls. Heavy sinker, change up down in the bottom of the zone. Pounds the zone. It's funny, I'm looking at his analytics, and you talk about all the stuff that can be gleaned. He is on the lower 20 percentile in batted balls in play.
What does that mean exactly?
It means that anything hit and play tends to lean more to being a hit on him. Where you're sitting there watching him now, and I'm going, okay, that one's not translating for me because everything that's been hit has been really soft and nice, routine ground balls.
That one was hit hard off the bat of Gage Miller. Miller's got 2 hits and 3 at bats. Alabama hit 3 home runs through the first 4 innings of this game. They have not scored since the 4th. Big reason why has been Castellano. Coach Rob Vaughn trying to push the right buttons here down the stretch of this game. It does not bode well if you have to go and play the elimination game tomorrow. Because, you know, there is no day after tomorrow if you lose. So you're going to have to use and expend some of those arms that you might otherwise not wanted to use.
That's what they're doing right now. Both these teams bring in one of their best relievers or 2 of their best relievers. And you're knowing that Florida State got by with their bullpen getting 1/3 of an inning. So you got a completely fresh pen walking in for Florida State tomorrow should they need it, with one of the best pitchers in the country in Jamie Arnold. On the other side of it, might be playing at noon tomorrow in a battle against Stetson.
2 balls, 2 strikes to the leadoff man, and that's inside as Miller scoots out of the way. Gage Miller, 18 home runs on this season. All 18 were hit before the month of May. Has not hit one since April 27th at Ole Miss. So that's a 10-game stretch there that he hasn't hit one, but that goes back to kind of the food poisoning situation, and it's taken a while for some of these guys to get back to 100%, and Miller works a 2-out walk.
I never did find out what the food was.
I didn't either. I heard it was like a pasta or something like that, but something that was just odd.
Chicken pesto.
Something, it's got to be, yeah.
But to get 33 of the 39 guys on the roster.
Ian Petrutz at the plate. And that hit him. It certainly did. So first and second for Alabama in 2 outs. And the tying run moves into scoring position.
That was about the last thing that UCF dugout and Coach Wallace wanted to see. I just saw him walk off the top step and disappear around the tunnel for a minute to get a breath of air, because here comes LeBron, who's 2 for 3 on the night. It has been on time.
Yep, got the walkie-talkie out, so we're talking down to the UCF bullpen right now to see who will come up pretty soon. And yep, starting to stir. Nobody throwing yet, so it looks like Castellano will be throwing to LeBron.
It's Chris Sosnowski coming up. Their closer, or one of their closers, 5 saves on the year.
Yeah, they've kind of gone back and forth between Sosnowski and Chase Santala. Both have combined for 12 saves. Castellano dealing to the All-SEC first-team member and freshman Justin LeBron. And the first pitch outside.
Well, this is an interesting thought. Now, coming from the guy who intentionally walked Barry Bonds with the bases loaded.
Yep.
I have been known to go through my lifespan as a closer going, okay, just because I got runners on first and second doesn't mean I don't have an open base. Third base is open.
Ooh, good pitch.
Yeah, that was a really good pitch. I don't have to throw him anything to hit. If he wants to expand the zone and get me into a good count, then we can have conversations. But if we get behind, then I might not be giving you anything good to hit.
Another good one there. LeBron caught a little piece, but it's 1-2.
The slider in, 1-0 count, change up away. This is going to be Castellano's best pitch right here.
Went with a fastball, and that just missed the corner there. LeBron had another life. It's 2-2. That was probably a bit outside.
Just a shade. But if LeBron wants to expand the zone, it's going to be hard to do a whole lot with that pitch. See if he comes back to that slider coming in.
And he does, and LeBron's all over it. Lines one out to left. They will wave around Gage Miller. He will score. We are tied. Can't say enough about the maturity of the freshman, Justin LeBron. Did not look comfortable in those first 2 sliders, but he was all over that one.
Yeah, and that's what Coach Vaughn said. He's just big in the moment, doesn't care and doesn't know when the moment always is. But he saw that slider on a 1-0 count, and this slider was not near as good as that 1-0 slider. How about the freshman?
Now you got a deal to William Hameter, who has struck out twice, grounded out. We got a whole new ball game here in the bottom of the 7th.
Well, Hameter's been the catalyst the last 10 games, hitting .450, 4 doubles, couple of home runs, getting on base at a .530 clip. Quiet tonight, 0 for 3, a couple of punch outs.
17 of his 19 RBIs on the season have come in the last 10 games.
Is that good?
I'd say it's pretty good. That's a nice hot stretch there. Yeah. Chops one back up the middle, charging the shortstop Kluska, and he makes the play to retire the side. But Alabama ties it up on the RBI single from.
I know that they had a tournament that they met Auburn last year. They came up a couple years ago. Pretty nice little stat right there, 6'6". Somebody's going to be 7'6", I guarantee you, after this game.
Alabama has sent Portera in to take over Bryce Eblin's spot at second. All right, Greg, so we got 6-6, couple innings to play here. You kind of wonder how these teams are going to try and play this. Obviously, runs are going to be at a premium here after we had, what, 5-7 runs through an inning and a half of this game.
And now it's settled in.
Yep.
You know, it hasn't been the starting pitchers that had settled in. It's been the middle guys or the piggyback guys that have come in and really settled things down. And then LeBron, in a situation where I'm not letting him beat me, ends up turning around and he beats him. But now Myers been in the closing role. He's going to roll out there for a couple innings, and we're going to see UCF's going to bring somebody in right now.
Nine, 1-2 for UCF. That's a mistake there for Myers. Second walk of the game, and it's his 10th of the season. You make the mistake to the 9-hitter, now you got to go 1-2-3 here. But when tied after 7 this year, UCF 3-2, Alabama 4-2. UCF was 29-1 when leading after the 7th.
Doesn't mean they can't blow the save and come back and win.
100%. And Brate lays down a bunt, but it'll be foul as Gassetti touched it with his index finger.
Nice soft bunt, just trying to get a little too fine with it down the first base line. Brate 0 for 4, a couple of punch outs in the first 2 innings. Trying to move the guy over. I mean, UCF's bullpen's been really good. Trying to give them a chance to get a 1-run lead again, put a runner in scoring position, and now Brate is meeting with Coach Wallace in an offensive meeting.
Alabama has had their struggles at times with their bullpen and with their starters. A team ERA of 5.68, that's 10th in the SEC. Yeah, there's Alton Davis up there. He's been one of their go-to guys down the stretch of games.
Big left-handed arm.
Brate squaring again, and he fouls it off. So it's 0-2 to the leadoff hitter, and Brate 0 for 4 today.
Just trying to be a little too fine with that bunt. You got Myers, right-hander. He's falling off to that side of the field. Hodo staying home at first base. And honestly, they had Gage Miller is more who you want to bunt that ball to. Because he's going to have a tough play making a throw to second base.
He squared around on 0-2 and pulled back.
That's knowing who your guys are. And Wallace is sitting in there. If he gives him the bunt, you know, Brate knows that he trusts him to get this job done. Those 2 bunts that he had were really solid, soft, well done, just 3 inches foul.
Not squaring here, and he fouls it off. Do you think guys are more comfortable? Obviously, you know, in batting practice, guys will bunt down the third base line, down the first. Do you think they're more comfortable, though, in a situation just saying, I can get it down, but I can only get it down in this area?
I think there's a little bit of that where there's a comfort level of I'm not sticking my nose in it.
Yeah.
And I got my right hand way out, and I'm trying to, you know, pull this bunt down the third base line. It's a lot easier to bunt it down the first. You know, I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're looking, and I'm sure there's been some film of watching the bunt defenses of Alabama, and you're seeing Hodo staying home on the bag, and you're going to put it in the pitcher's hands, and if you dump it softly down the line a little bit, it's a tough play for the pitcher.
That's right down Broadway. Strike 3 to Brate. He has struck out 3 times tonight, and a huge first out for Myers.
Yeah, that one hurts UCF. He's just trying to get the bunt down. Here comes a 2-seamer starting off the plate. And might we see Alton Davis coming in right here? You got Prevesk lefty, you got Bodecker lefty.
Mikey Klusk over at first. Alton Davis got knocked around a little bit against South Carolina over 3 innings. Gave up 5 hits, 3 earned.
Kleska 4 for 6 on the year in stolen bases, but I've already talked about Gassetti behind the plate. It's going to be tough to steal on a lefty.
Rivas transferred in from Florida following 2 seasons with the Gators in 2022 and 23. Helped Florida reach the College World Series final last year. So a lot of postseason experience at the plate for the Knights right now. And a great finish to the regular season, 4 hits in the Baylor series with a pair of doubles and a home run. And the 2-0 from Davis, and I think that hit him. It either hit him or it hit the bottom of the bat, and it did indeed hit him. So that'll scoot Kleska up to second, and Privas on first.
Well, the first 3 pitches out of Alton Davis's hand have been a little bit loose. It gets him right on the wrist. Plate umpire Dave Condon was checking down to third to see if he swung. And I would say no.
Privas was doing everything he could to get out of the way there, but that's Cedarburg taking a called strike. RBI double in the 5th. Walked in the 1st. He's 1 for 3.
Coach Walls calls him a professional hitter. That's a pretty nice swing right there. Stays inside of a good fastball down, 95.
Behind 0-2, Alton Davis. Big strikeout numbers, and he spikes one and it gets past Gassetti. Down to third base. Will go Kleska up to second, goes Privas on the wild pitch.
This ball is just almost impossible to block. It comes up almost around the chest of Gassetti. And that would be a little bit of the AstroTurf, but it's also, you throw a pitch 57 feet with that amount of spin on it. There's no telling where that ball is going to go on the bounce.
37 strikeouts this year in 32 innings for Davis. Got away from Gassetti, but able to keep it in front, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. But you can see the wildly effectiveness at times from Davis, because if you're the batter up there, you don't really know where the ball's going at times, which can be an advantage to a pitcher if you can use it. But wild pitches don't help. This ball's hit towards short, and it'll score a run. UCF takes the lead. Cedarburg put it in play. And Kleska comes in to score the 7th run of the game for the Knights, and they're in front with 2 outs in the top of the 8th.
Just a back and forth game. Great job by Cedarburg. 2 strikes, just putting it in play. The middle infield's back, trying to turn 2. This ball is to LeBron's right. Makes his backhand look just stupid easy with a laser cannon throwing it across the diamond.
If LeBron was playing a little bit closer in, I think he might have tried to go home with it, but they were playing pretty deep up the middle there. Lex Bodecker is the batter now.
This is a big run at second base, Sam. Ooh, boy, he had a good pass at that one.
When things are going well for Alton Davis, what does it look like?
It's a little bit more command. It's enough of the wildness on the off-speed stuff, and it's fine to be a little erratic.
In the air out to left, and Petrux will squeeze it for the final out of the top of the 8th. 4 really deserving teams here in Tallahassee this weekend. UCF took the lead in the top of the 8th. See if Alabama can fire back here in the bottom of the 8th. It has been a back and forth ball game here all game long. Cade Snell will lead it off for the Tide. He is hitless since that 3-run homer back in the 1st.
Fastball just missed somewhere. it was down. This has been a fun game because it's UCF starts it out, Alabama answers, UCF answers, Bama scores 2. But I do know one thing, leadoff walks to start an inning after your team just got you the lead are not going to go over very well.
Snell taken all the way there. 4-pitch walk from Dominic Castellano, who remains in the game after allowing the hit to LeBron. That tied it up in the 7th.
Well, you're looking down at Gassetti's right-handed, so he's got Snell left-handed, Gassetti right-handed, McCants left-handed, and that's going to be the end of the day, I believe. Castellano.
That's head coach Rich Wallace going out. We'll see what Gassetti does. 0 for 3 night tonight. See if he tries to move Cade Snell up into scoring position, or if he's swinging away. And he will square. Breaking pitch.
I'm not much of a bunter in the grand scheme of life, you know, having to do it a little bit in spring training. I hated it, but I've been told that bunting breaking balls is a lot easier than bunting a mid-90s fastball.
It's actually Max Grant that has entered as a pinch runner over there at first for Snell. And the bunt is a good one. Sosnowski over to first, sacrifice complete for Gassetti. Alabama gets the tying run into scoring position.
Well, you can see why he's got 4, now 5 sacrifice bunts, hanging breaking ball, deadens it a little bit, forces Sosnowski to be athletic, get off the mound, make a play a little bit into the throwing lane. That's the one play in baseball that both teams actually like. You know, UCF will gladly take the out. Alabama will gladly give the out and move the guy 90 feet.
Alabama is 2 for 6 with runners in scoring position here tonight. And McCants up the first base side foul. TJ McCants left the yard back in the 4th inning. He's got a couple of these this year. Been a revelation for Alabama coming over from Ole Miss. A renaissance season for him, but he is strikeout prone. Leads the team with 63 strikeouts coming into this one. Sosnowski, we saw his strikeout numbers, so good battle here. And a breaking pitch taken the other way out to left. Matt Preves going back, and he makes the catch. Trying to tag from second is Grant, slides in safely to third. So Alabama has the tying run 90 feet away with 2 outs.
Really good at bat for McCants. Drilled this ball to left field onto the warning track on a breaking ball, oppo power. Prevesk able to run it down and not be able to set his feet quick enough. Max Grant takes the 90 feet on the tag.
Will Hodo batting in the 8th spot. 8 and 9 batters today for Alabama, 0 for 6. Hodo swinging away and fouling it off at the plate.
I would be, if I'm sitting in the dugout for UCF right now and the tying run is at third base and my second baseman is 15 to 20 yards into the outfield grass, I would have a little bit of nervousness that if this ball is hit really softly, nobody's getting to it.
Excellent breaking pitch for strike 2.
I mean, if he rolls over this ground ball, which would be a routine 4 to 3, break out in short right has no chance of coming in and getting it.
Sosnowski, fastball is buried down below the knees.
Can you, is it just me, or can you tell when guys don't like what pitch is called and they throw it anyway? Sosnowski didn't like that fastball right there, and he goes, I'm going to throw it, but I'm going to make sure he does not hit it, and just holds onto it and buries it in the ground.
See if he gets something he likes here. That breaking pitch has been on tonight, but he misses on the back door breaker. Will Hodo's been in a bit of a slump for Alabama. Since the end of the Mississippi State series on May 5th, he has 4 for his last 23. And a bloop shot out to shallow center field. This could be trouble, and it drops. Alabama ties it up on a bloop single off the bat of Will Hodo. See if that breaks the slump for the first baseman.
Just a curveball elevated. He gets fisted on it. Just strong enough to flip it out into center field. The respect UCF has for his power.
Ooh.
One guy had a shot.
Muska almost made a web gem play there. It's a game of inches. I know they say that's a game of inches in football, but baseball is also a game of inches.
Yeah, that one would have been an unbelievable play. Williamson playing deep in center field. No chance at it. Great effort.
So Portera at the plate. He came in to play second base for Bryce Eblin. And he's swinging away. Driven well out to left. Ballpark's going to hold it. So the bloop single for Will Hodo ties us right back up 7-7. We go to the Alton Davis, the second, back out on the mound for the Tide here in the top of the 9th. And the Knights have the middle parts of their order up. The 2 Notre Dame transfers, Jack Ziska and Danny Neary, will start it off. And the first pitch slips out of the hand of Alton Davis.
Just a bit outside. My college coach was always trying to get me to do that, like first pitch of the inning or something. Just to have everybody go,
yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Just to instill fear into the, like a Randy Johnson to John Kruk in the All-Star game.
Yeah, that one. Just throw one up and out and freak everybody out. What did I say about leadoff walks in the last couple innings here? All seem to come around to score so far in the last 2 innings.
Yeah, both teams got the leadoff walk, and both runs came around to score. So it's a strike in there to Jack Ziska, who has driven in 3 of the team's 7 runs tonight. He is 2 for 4 at the plate with a pair of doubles, and he is aboard with a leadoff walk. It has kind of felt like a mini basketball game with all these lead changes that we've had. 7 lead changes in a 9-inning baseball game. UCF has hit the ball well with runners on, 7 for 19. Alabama, 6 for 14 with 2 outs. So both teams have kind of played to some strengths. But I think the question is going to be who can score last. Oh, look out.
This is not going to be a comfortable at bat.
No.
You're going to tell me to get my nose in here and lay down a sacrifice bunt?
Neary pulls the bunt back, and it's 2-0 to the UCF catcher.
It's just whatever Jason Jackson just told him, just a little bit of an over adjustment on whatever body part that he needs to clean up. I don't know if Alton Davis is going to have long for this. I just don't think Alabama can sit back and let things get a little bit loose here.
Yeah, throw over to first on a 3-0 count. Leads me to believe they're getting somebody up and warming in the bullpen, just a couple more pitches, and that's in for strike 1.
Well, that's just, you know what, for me, that's just kind of like a reset the brain.
Okay.
Let's try to do something different, you know, just go over here, reset.
A little bit of a quick pitch there for Davis, and sacrifice is complete. Go-ahead run in scoring position for the Knights.
Nice bunt. I cannot stress how difficult that is. When the guy out there is throwing 95, 96, and it's loose and everywhere, and you got to lean your nose out over home plate and soften up a bunt.
So UCF 7 for 19 with runners on base, but they are 3 for 11 with runners in scoring position.
Well, they got the hot guy up.
They certainly do. Khalees, 4 singles tonight, 4 for 4. Raised his batting average over 300.
Raised it by 20 points. It's 308 now, started the game at 288.
And that's in for a called strike too. If Alton Davis can somehow get a strikeout here, changes the complexion a little bit of this inning.
This game of ebbs and flows, there is momentum in baseball. And I guarantee you there would be a lot of momentum shifted over to the Alabama dugout if Alton Davis is able to get out of this situation.
Jack Ziska on second, 1 out, tie ball game, top of the 9th. And this ball lifted out to right. And Hamburger records second out.
Fastball up, power fastball. Khalees unable to get on top of it to do anything with it.
Well, looks like they might be sending a pinch hitter up. Yep, and it will be Andrew Sundin. Sundin hurt his knee at the end of March and missed a month. Came back at the end of April, but we were told that that knee is still bugging him a little bit, so we probably wouldn't see him in the field, but we could see him come in a pinch hit situation, and that is what we are seeing now.
267 on the year, he's got 128 Bs, 35 games. 5 home runs, 28 RBI. Walking cold off the bench.
That's tough. Chance to be the hero, though. Ziska dancing off second, and he just missed that one. Fouled straight back.
Right on time on that 94. Nice stroke. That swing seems like it feels like a right center gap type swing.
And this ball's lined into left center field for a base hit. They're going to wave around Ziska. He will score the go-ahead run. UCF in front, 8-7. Sundin in a pinch hit spot in the top of the 9th inning, and they will pinch run for him because that knee is still bugging him. But he did his job. Right up. And does some damage. Snap throw back to first, and diving back head first is Calabro.
Calabro, I don't know if he was looking for a hit and run, but he got about halfway to second base. It was in no man's land. And if Hodo would have known where he was at and dove back instead of spinning around, that would have been a pickoff for Gassetti.
Alton Davis misses down, 1-1. Now, Alabama will have the top of their lineup coming up in the bottom of the 9th inning. It will be 1, 2, and 3. Miller, Petrutz, and Justin LeBron. Inside, ball 2.
There has never been a 9th inning that I've ever been a part of that it wasn't 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, ever. It's almost like you heard MLB was trying to make that rule up in the 9th inning. You get to put up whoever you want in whatever spots in the order. It's almost like it doesn't matter because you're going to get your dudes coming up. I've never had 7, 8, 9, 8, 9, 1. Come walking in and let's dance, boys. I got your best coming up.
I think the question's going to be for UCF, do they stick with Sosnowski or do they dip back into the bullpen? Sosnowski faced 4 batters. Got a couple of flyouts, but no damage done.
This game has been just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I've gotten to sit here and watch it with you.
Feelings mutual on a called strike 3 will get Alabama back into the dugout. And Justin LeBron, 1-2-3 hitters, 5 for 9 tonight for Alabama with a double, a homer, and 2 RBI. Although the latter has been all LeBron with the double, the homer, and 2 RBI. First batter in these situations always so critical, Greg.
Oh, we've seen the leadoff walks come around to score each of the last 3 half innings. And it's not like you can just go, okay, I can just challenge Gage Miller and do my best. He's got 18 home runs on the year.
And a fastball paints the outside corner for strike 1 to Gage Miller. Walked in his last at bat, has a couple of singles. 2 for 3 day for the leadoff man. Yeah, those 18 home runs leading the team, but again, has not hit one since April 27th. No bigger spot than right now as the breaking pitch catches a piece. Miller doesn't like it. 1-2.
You can see Gage Miller. That ball was a little bit outside. Nice frame job by Neary.
Chris Sosnowski with the 1-2. Fastball is lifted high in the sky here in Tallahassee. Second baseman Andrew Brate down to his knees to make the grab. Anything in the air has been interesting so far in the opening round today.
That was drop some hearts in the UCF dugout. He goes down and just making sure he's got about another foot longer, so I'm going to go down on my knees to make sure I catch this ball, just see it a little bit deeper.
Ian Petrutz, 6 home runs this season, was hit by a pitch in his last at-bat. A crucial first out, though, in the bottom of the 9th for the Knights. And a fastball in for strike 1 at 89.
All right, if college baseball has the stat of stealing strikes, Neary's got 2 in the last 3 pitches.
Oh, that is nasty.
That is nice.
This
that
is low.
Is a nice hook.
I don't know how you lay off that if you're Petrutz.
I think you kind of get locked up because you're like, oh! Interesting, tries to go with a changeup right there. Leaves it a little bit glove side and down. You know what? I always felt like, okay, I missed with that hook. Just missed out. I'm going to be better the second time I throw it.
Fastball line shot to deep center field. Calabro just into the game. Makes the catch.
I was saying, if I threw one curveball and just missed, I'm going to make a good adjustment on the next one. And so I would always double up. If I missed 1-1 and then all of a sudden here I come back with it, and I've usually ended up 1-2. But doesn't it always, the ball always find the new guy on the field?
It always does. And doesn't the final out always come down to a situation like this? When you get a guy like Justin LeBron up to the plate, who has led this team all year long offensively, facing one of the best pitchers, and a line shot. Oh, it's off the glove of Kluska and into center field. That would have done it had Kluska been able to squeeze it. It'll be a base hit for LeBron, and he's got a 4 for 5 night tonight. Bookmark that one, Greg. Bookmark it. We'll see what happens.
He is a triple shot.
Yep.
And that ball gets in the gap and is not deflected. That would have been interesting. First pitch curveball. This freshman is going out there hunting pitches, knowing I'm not seeing a fastball, and his last couple swings have been on cutters 2 cutters for a double and a home run, a slider for a single, and that curveball for a single.
Will Hamiter, nobody has been hotter than him over the last couple of weeks for Alabama. Like we said, coming into this game, batting .450 in the month of May. 18 for 40, but he is 0 for 4 tonight with a pair of strikeouts.
I got to believe LeBron's going to be off and running here. 7 for 7 on the year in stolen bases. Near eyes, thrown out 5 base runners out of 48.
LeBron not going here. Grounder towards first. Nice snag by Bodecker. UCF takes down Alabama and will face off against the host, Florida State, tomorrow night. Up. And does some damage. Snap throw back to first, and diving back head first is Calabro.
Calabro, I don't know if he was looking for a hit and run, but he got about halfway to second base. It was in no man's land. And if Hodo would have known where he was at and dove back instead of spinning around, that would have been a pickoff for Gassetti.
Alton Davis misses down, 1-1. Now, Alabama will have the top of their lineup coming up in the bottom of the 9th inning. It will be 1, 2, and 3. Miller, Petrutz, and Justin LeBron. Inside, ball 2.
There has never been a 9th inning that I've ever been a part of that it wasn't 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, ever. It's almost like you heard MLB was trying to make that rule up in the 9th inning. You get to put up whoever you want in whatever spots in the order. It's almost like it doesn't matter because you're going to get your dudes coming up. I've never had 7, 8, 9, 8, 9, 1. Come walking in and let's dance, boys. I got your best coming up.
I think the question's going to be for UCF, do they stick with Sosnowski or do they dip back into the bullpen? Sosnowski faced 4 batters. Got a couple of flyouts, but no damage done.
This game has been just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I've gotten to sit here and watch it with you.
Feelings mutual on a called strike 3 will get Alabama back into the dugout. Alton